So you never know who you're going to meet. The world is small, but different age division today. We've got singer, songwriter Danielle Durack out of Arizona, Scottsdale area. If I've got it right, Danielle, do I have it right?
Yeah.
And she has her own, indie album, if you will, kind of self-produced, responsible for everything. Kind of reminds me of like a crazy self-published book. But anyway, before we get into my questions and conversation with Danielle, why don't I just turn it to her and let her do her thing for the next few minutes. All right, over to you, Danielle.
Awesome. Thank you, Jay. I'm going to play a little song. This one's off of my most recent album called No Place. It's called Don't Know If I'll Stick Around. I called my mother at midnight, said I'm out on a wire. Can't make decisions to save my life. Could you show me how? I called him up on a Friday, said I wanna go dancing. You called me back on a Monday once all the bars were closed. But it's okay, no, I can't complain. Got a good thing going now. But one of these days the feeling has changed. Don't know if I'll stay, don't know if I'll stay. I told you off in the morning just to come back crying. Oh, I don't want what I need, I can't discern a damn thing. But I try my best to be happy. I'll try so hard to be what you need. I just wanna be everything and I fall so short. But it's okay, no, I can't complain. Got a good thing going now. But one of these days the feelings change. Don't know if I'll stay, don't know if I'll stay. Don't take this the wrong way, babe. Some days you're just dead weight. And I love you all the same. It's just too much to carry. And don't take this the wrong way, but babe, some days you're just dead weight. And I love you all the same. It's just too much to carry. But it's okay, no, I can't complain. Got a good thing going now. But one of these days, gonna pack my things, gonna leave this place. Don't know if I'll stick. Okay, I need everything. Got a good thing going down. But one of these days, gonna pack my things, gonna leave this place. Don't know if I'll stay.
Well, thank you. So, No Way is what, your fourth?
Third album. I put out like a demo before the first album, but yeah.
And when was that? When did this whole thing, when did journey, I guess is too fancy a word, but when did this begin?
Yeah, it I put out that first demo in I think 2014, like the end of 2014.
2014. So that you were what, a teenager?
Yeah, I was just out of high school. I was 18.
Just out of high school. And then were you formally like educated in music, or how'd you get started? Why did it come to you that, oh, I'm gonna sing?
It's not the most I don't know. It's kind of a silly story. I just loved like Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera and all of the pop stars that I like was um, exposed to, I guess, and like watched them sing and dance. And as a kid, I was just really captivated by it, and I knew that that's what I wanted to do. Obviously, that's evolved a little bit, but still kind of like where it all started. And then I started writing songs before I knew how to play instruments. So I started writing just lyrics and melodies in like the fifth grade.
Fifth
And then,
grade.
yeah, yeah, really great material back then.
Well, but when did the music, when did like learning how to play an instrument? Did you take lessons of some sort, or?
Yeah, so when I got into high school, I had been messing around and like kind of self-teaching on piano. And then when I got to high school, they had like studio keyboard classes, and I took 2 semesters of that. And then a studio keyboard class in college. But other than that, that's pretty much it for piano. And then I'm self-taught on guitar.
So, we had spoken before we had agreed to have this interview. In high school, you just started for keyboard studio, but then you almost went to college to study music. Is it right?
Yeah. I almost went. I was accepted into Berkeley in Boston and was gonna go for vocals, but obviously it was a bit, cost prohibitive.
Well, vocals to a school like Berkeley, isn't that really like reserved for the formally trained? I mean, that's the absolute highest end of
Right.
conservatories.
Yeah, I mean, I did take voice lessons. I took voice lessons from seventh grade,
Okay. Okay.
but I stopped in high school when I joined choir, and I was in several choirs at that point, so was still being trained. But Berkeley's kind of a funny one. They're not like Juilliard. They're a little bit more, or at least that's how they market themselves, as like a more contemporary, more like open, like a jazz school. I don't know.
So yeah, it's interesting, because as I mentioned to you that, I've had Kevin Cole, who's a pianist,
Yeah.
and, he was accepted to Juilliard, even though he had background not similar to yours, hometown, a fraction of the size of,
Right.
anywhere in Arizona.
Yeah.
But that is, kind of, the properly, you've got to be educated or, show off your wares in classical. I mean, basically,
Yeah.
there's not really a shortcut. But
Yeah.
sounds like for vocal, you didn't have to do that for vocals, meaning, this wasn't like a, alto or soprano in opera or anything like that. You didn't have to do
No.
that when you
Yeah,
just,
I mean, like I said, they kind of market themselves as like a contemporary music school. My audition was with I sang a Lauryn Hill song for my audition.
okay.
Yeah.
So quite a
Um,
different pathway.
yeah, totally. But I did have to audition for, I ended up going to Arizona State, and I got an interdisciplinary degree, but I had to audition for basically what was like a music minor. That was like half of my degree. Um, and I had to sing some opera for that. So I've done it once or twice.
So what range are you soprano, or
Yeah.
that's what you would call it?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm definitely the higher end of things.
So you're at Arizona State and you're thinking to yourself, so you studied me at the music school as half of your background, and then you went to others, like other academic topics. So you had an actual other major, I guess it would be. What's your major?
Yeah, it's the major was interdisciplinary studies, which is basically they just like stuck two minors together and called it a major,
I
which
see.
is
And what was your other interests and things like
just
that?
general business. It was kind of like to please my parents and
Are your parents from the business world? Do they work and from the business world or?
yeah, my mom's in the corporate world for sure. My dad, he didn't go to school, so like he kind of has that mentality of like this is what I should have done, you know. So that kind of pressure is from both ends, just different sources, I guess.
I was kind of wondering. So, like, the background on how we got to, even connect. Your brother, I think, right? Matt, do I have it
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Is he younger or older?
he's older.
He's older.
Yeah.
So he reached out to me out of the blue because we had a common friend.
Mm-hmm.
Matt's a friend of someone who reached out to
Carol,
me.
right?
So I think that's right. So anyway, I was struck because, in what I do and, book, blah, 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 and these other things, it's not a natural connection point, but it's one that's important to me actually. And, a lot of why, encouraging persons in your age division, what, newly 26, do I have it right?
Yeah. Thanks.
Just the other day.
Yeah.
Am I supposed to reveal your age on my, maybe there's like not an
You're okay. Yeah, I don't mind.
So, what struck me was just a practical, everyday, common sense, approach. So I was kind of wondering where that come from, because sometimes it takes people to their 50s and then they still don't exactly have it because they've been so biased by, bar talk or some weird rumor or some other, fake stuff. But you actually have both a
Yeah.
background and then also your parents' influence, along those lines, probably, or am I speculating?
No, I think my mom's just she's pretty. Yeah, I think both my parents are very much like head on their shoulders down there type people. But I also think I went to like a parochial school, elementary through eighth grade, and there was a big emphasis on like critical thought and like just I don't know processing information and checking your sources and things like that.
So when you meet someone on the street and stuff like that, and someone says, "Okay, what do you do?"
Yeah.
What's the first thing that you say?
It depends what kind of conversation I'm trying to have, I guess. But yeah, no, I usually say I'm a musician. I'm an independent musician, and then they'll ask me, what kind of music, and I'll tell them I'm a singer-songwriter, and I'll try and name some artists that they might know, that
So
I.
who would you name?
So yeah, I mean, it depends on the demographic I'm talking to. Like if it's young people, I'll say like Phoebe Bridgers or like Julian Baker, Lucy Dacus. And then if I miss that crowd, I'll say Sarah Bareilles, Ingrid Michaelson, Regina Spektor. And then if that's kind of lost on them, I'll be like Joni Mitchell, like that kind of world. Yeah.
And now, how do you, in the age of COVID, is it different as far as, performing? Do you perform gigs? Are live gigs, back up and running as far as, you can tell?
Yeah. I mean, for how long, I don't know. But yeah, for now, things are more or less back to normal, at least here in Phoenix. Like they're doing shows at full capacity and, yeah, it's I don't know. There's speculation that the new variant is going to really throw a wrench in things, but for now we're back to normal, full capacity, and everything's back to normal except I worked through some pretty serious stage fright over like the last 6 years, and I'm basically back to square one with that after taking a year and a half off. I recently got back on stage and was just absolutely petrified again. So got to relearn.
Did you take training to get over it, or how'd that work? I mean, or it's just kind of well, I guess you can't bite your tongue and perform, but
Yeah. Kind of just suffered through it until I realized, like, I don't know, it's one of those things that I really wanted to do, and I wanted to work through it. So suffered through it until eventually I realized it wasn't going to kill me, and I could relax a little bit more on stage. Just kind of the thought that, like, even if like the worst case scenario happens, like I'm still going to wake up tomorrow and still going to be doing music. So whatever.
So now, day to day, you're what does a musician do? I mean, I'm always very curious. Like you wake up and you think of songs, or you're walking around and observe something and looking for inspiration for songs, or how does the creative process work for Danielle?
Yeah, it's never, for me at least, it's never that conscious. Like, I feel like if I try to write a song about something, those are my worst songs. Or if I set out and I'm like, I'm gonna write a song about this, it just comes off as so like contrived and like, I don't know, sometimes like weirdly preachy, and like the best songs happen when it's just kind of like I'm bored and I pick up my guitar and whatever's kind of like the mental chatter just pours out, um, and yeah, that's hard to like bank on, right? Like you
Right.
I can just like make that happen. So that's a little bit scary, but yeah, no, it's just kind of like a normal normal life. But I play guitar and I write songs and I spend time and money recording them and putting them out for the world.
You've got this music and this collection of songs, which I've listened to. You've put yourself pretty far out there, like on a personal level. Is this the connection you're seeking, or the connection you're trying to communicate?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I like I said, when I write, it's not like a particularly like conscious, like I'm gonna write a song about this. It's just like whatever I'm feeling that day is going to be on the page, and like, and I think that is how I would like to come off. Like I want to be the most authentic um, version of myself. Um, and I think that is like what art is kind of about. It's about sharing that stuff and um, being able to relate with people that you've never met about just baseline human experience. Um, and it is vulnerable, but I think it's worth it at the end of the day. Like that feeling when somebody gets it, or somebody feels seen by it, or yeah.
Do you get
So
lots of feedback, or I have no idea what's sitting in your comments? Or emails and things like that. And is it usually from persons in, female at your age division that you would notice as far as your comments go, and feedback for your music? Or
yeah, I mean, people have been overwhelmingly like kind and like supportive. I haven't really gotten any like, just hateful messages yet, which I think that means that I haven't made it yet. So looking forward to that day. But yeah, no, I'd say it's a good mix of people. Spotify has a really great like analytics page, and my demographic is definitely like it skews more towards women, and like 20s 30s is like the age range of like who's listening. Obviously there's people in all age ranges, but those are the bulk of them.
it's crazy, right? How much data you can get. I have no idea what that looks like, but I heard if your song is added to a playlist or something like that, you can tell.
Yeah, it's got like basically a list of yeah, I think it only shows you like the 100 largest playlists that you're on, but it shows you all the playlists your songs are on, which is so funny to like scroll through and see what kinds of
Oh
playlists
my God.
you're on.
So if I had you on like a playlist with like Anthrax, you would then, or Iron Maiden, you'd see that your songs with that list.
Yep, I would know.
That's both good and a little worrisome. I mean, it's good for you. I would think. I mean, I would want to know, for sure. I'm not sure if I want people to know. It's kind of like, before there used to be this thing called, well, you're, I'm, you probably know, but this used to be an iPod.
Right. I had an iPod.
you know, and then like people would play their playlists and or people would try not to play their iPods in public because then it would be too revealing about what combination of music they were actually listening to
Right.
and things like that. So it's a little worrisome. Like Spotify has this thing where
you can see what your friends are listening to.
Yeah.
I know. It's bad news.
I shut mine off. I mean,
Yeah.
I've got all mine, and if it's not private, that's like a complete error. I mean,
Right.
And things like that. So back to your music. So what's your dream? I mean, I'm gonna give you a blank piece of paper. Danielle gets to do what she wants, or she gets to situate her career and the way she would like. What does that look like?
It's kind of evolved over the years. I think right now, the dream is to like tour the world and like, be compensated for that, not have to go into extreme debt in order to achieve that, tour the world at like 500 capacity venues and like, I don't know, develop a fan base and I do this exercise once a year. I go and I write it down in great detail what I'm aiming to do, but I would love to like, buy a house and be able to put my grandmother's piano in it and write songs all day in my house, wherever it is.
Is that Arizona?
Yes.
I know. I mean, is this house with the piano? Is it would it be in Arizona?
Assuming that we still, have water and the climate crisis hasn't completely destroyed this place, yes.
Then it's still Arizona.
Yeah, this is my home. I love it here. But yeah, I would love to live here for the rest of my life.
I mean, some people have like wherever is not here. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's their attitude of like, I don't mind where it is as long as it isn't there where
Yeah.
But that's not you.
No, I like it here. I mean, my dad's from Scottsdale as well, actually, and got all of his brothers here, and I don't know. Yeah, I grew up here. It feels like home, and that's a good thing.
So you've traveled a bit. How much of your performing and things like that? Well, first of all, how many for an independent artist, for an independent musician like yourself, what's busy? I have no idea of the context, and I'm sure most people don't. What's busy as far as how many gigs, performances in a month, would be considered busy, like generally, and then for you?
I don't know about generally. I actually have no idea. But for me, like before COVID, I was playing probably 5 or 6 gigs a month, like between my own concerts and, doing like restaurant gigs and weddings and whatever. But as far as like actual shows go, like concerts where I'm on stage and I'm playing my own music and I'm selling my merch at the merch booth, you really can't do that in the same city more than maybe like once, maybe twice a month, like if you're trying to draw a crowd. So, that's obviously when touring comes in play and you're, playing shows every day in a different city every night. And that was the most I had ever played. I played like 3 weeks straight in the summer of 2019. And it was so fun.
Where'd you go?
I went in, so My friend Sydney Sprague, she's another local singer-songwriter. She's awesome. You should check her out. Her and I went up the West Coast. We went, started in Flagstaff. We went to Salt Lake City, Boise, and then we went all the way up to Seattle, and then down the coast, Portland, San Francisco, LA, San Diego, and then back home in Tucson. And then later in the summer, I went as far east as Pittsburgh. I did like a whole Midwest run, and that's literally all the touring I've ever done. I was like just getting started, and then COVID hit.
So what was the timing like? You put out the album and then went out shortly thereafter, or what? Or no. That's I've got the time. I got the time capsules wrong, I'm sure.
Oh, you're good. So No Place, my most recent album, came out this January, so it's relatively new. At the time, I had put out Bashful in January of 2019, so it was off of that record that I was touring.
And now are you working on arranging dates, or is like consciously, or how does that work? Your manager does it, or booking agents? I'm sure I can't even imagine.
I don't have a booking agent, but that's kind of like the next step, and what I'm really itching to do is get back on the road and start playing shows again. But things are kind of a mess, just with each state having their own set of like regulations, and like things are just like up in the air. Like dates are changing, and also I don't know the ins and outs of this, but my manager was telling me a couple booking agencies were like basically closing, like they were like breaking apart, and just because everybody was out of a job for a year and a half in that department. And
this COVID prior to COVID, was it different? Or I mean, it sounds like so competitive.
It is
fragmented.
It is. I think, I don't know, maybe I'm biased just because I've been having a hard time with it recently, but it feels like it's the hardest thing to really nail down. Like, as opposed to like a manager or a label, like getting a booking agent is like a good booking agent that's going to get you in, on good shows, essentially. It's like there are a limited amount of those every year. There's a limited amount of venues in the United States. We can even dumb it down to like, there's a limited amount of venues in Phoenix, in a given month. And, there's only 2 or 3 good days a week that people are likely to come out for a show, right. and then you add in the availability of other good acts playing that other people would want to come see. It's like, it's actually like, I don't know, it's a little bit more challenging to find a booking agent, because it's like a supply and demand thing. They're limited quantity
of ones that are competent.
Right.
So when you came to the Midwest, where did you go? Just curious, because I'm located in Ann Arbor, so it's just.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I went to Michigan. I went to Detroit. I went to Kalamazoo in Michigan. I played Makokata, Iowa at this barn. It was so cool. We went to Pittsburgh. We went to Columbus, Ohio. And then we swung down. We went through Nashville, Austin, Fort Worth. Yeah. We went to Las Cruces, New Mexico, and then Tucson, and then back home. I went to Omaha as well, Denver.
And I have no idea, but I would have thought that, like, for your style of music, guitar, female, that the college town tour would be in order, no?
It's a great idea. Like, I should do that. That sounds like a great idea.
I mean, Kalamazoo has colleges there, a couple of schools, and it matches well with your independence and your totally. music style and things like that.
Yeah.
Especially that, and in that size, you like your ideal spot is 500 capacity. Is that?
That's like the goal. If I could sell out a 500 capacity around the world, like I'd be happy, you know?
If I went, if I made it 10 times that big, you wouldn't be happy. You'd be overwhelmed with stage fright or.
No, yeah, I'd get through it. I'll work through it again. It's just gonna take some time.
I was just wondering, what people aspire to, or, what they think is their ideal spot,
hmm
and how you even come up with it. As opposed to, I don't know, I'm sure some people, dreamed of stadium rock or whatever it would be. And, I'm not even sure if that's a good idea or a safe idea at this point. Who
Right.
even knows? Who
Seriously.
even knows? And in Arizona, from your point of view, everything's open right now, 100%. That's it. No mask, no nothing. Just go about
Yeah.
your.
Yeah.
And
There are quite a few people wearing masks out in public, but it's not mandated. Um, and even if it was, no one's really enforcing it. You know, it's up to the businesses to kind of, um, you know, put their minimum wage workers in a situation where they have to, argue with people all day long.
it's just no easy answer, that we have no precedent. So we have like no idea what's appropriate, and then
Yeah.
throw people's, fragmented political view and then forget
Right.
it. There's like almost no way to come up with a good answer.
Seriously.
So now Danielle's looking, so three full albums and the original demo. The issue, the negative, I think, and not negative, I wouldn't necessarily say. The good thing is the access, the entry point for someone like you is more accessible. We've got got these electronic ways of distribution.
Totally.
You've got your things out where? YouTube Music, Spotify, where else?
Yep. Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, Amazon, Bandcamp. It should be anywhere. Should be anywhere you look, if I'm doing my job right.
And you arranged for this, or your manager, or how'd that?
There's like a couple different websites out there that will just, you pay either an annual fee or you pay a one-time thing, and it'll just blast it out everywhere.
And you opted for that as opposed to doing that independently?
It's hard. It's actually a lot harder than I thought it would be to get it in certain places. Like it's not exactly easy or like quick to do that. But yeah, the website I use, I think it's like a flat rate. It's like $20 a year to have all of your songs everywhere, and it adds as new streaming platforms become available, it adds them to it. So it's like it's a good little system.
That's pretty. I mean, like I said, the similarities just out there. So are persons out there trying to be kind of agents or managers for artists like yourself and musicians, trying getting your name out there? And what's that process like? Or is it just Danielle doing this and trying to learn everything one at a time by herself?
I do actually have a manager. He's out in Illinois, and he does. I mean, he's helped immensely. Like he's more of like the booking side of things and helps me, he connected me with the PR firm that helped me put out the most recent album. He's connected me with other artists that he manages to, he's gotten me touring opportunities, and pretty much anything. If I say I need help, I need you to send out some albums this week, I don't have the time or whatever, he's on it. But yeah, there's that. I mean, there's booking agents, there's labels, there's, it's like you wear so many hats as an independent musician. There's so much more than even I am aware of, that I'm doing what I feel like is everything, and then someone will be telling me about their experience in whatever, and I'll be like, oh my God, I need to be doing that too. And and it just multiplies.
So many different things for you to manage.
Yeah.
Spokes, somebody described it to me as spokes. I mean, when I was, trying to get my book off the ground and into the right spot, et cetera, et cetera. And when I was telling you, I think I've written you an email. It's like, we're actually, I remember those days, and I still have them. I mean, I still am managing a bunch of different, inputs of this, that, and the other. What's the stuff that you like detest doing?
It's a love-hate thing, like shipping out merchandise. Like, it's very like tedious, and I like to write like notes to everybody.
Oh no.
Yeah. So it's always just like the looming chore, and it's one that's like, thankfully, it's one that's like never really done, because like as soon as you finish up a batch, like another one can come in, and you're like, geez, okay, now I gotta put this off for another week. And
so are you managing your own inventory, or I mean, you order the hard copies and you get some CD or a CD or something like that. And it comes, so you've got like boxes and crates like this in your apartment, and then you send them out one by one by yourself?
Yeah. So I do have a manager out in, he's in Illinois, but I do have like 500 copies of my first record and then 250 copies of my second record. And they're all just sitting in my entryway, which is a very cute look for the apartment. Yeah, it's all me, and sometimes my manager will be, he's got copies because he'll send them out too when I just can't get to it. But operations manager is right here.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I was saying, is that I was writing the book, and then there were these like things that I couldn't imagine. Where you're writing some kind of like short note to who? Somebody independently bought your book from your your music from your website and things like that?
Yeah. I'll write little thank you notes to people who buy my merchandise.
Oh my goodness. So I thought we'd take another break for another song. Danielle, why don't you give us a quick explanation of the song and what it's about, and then you'll be on your way.
All right, awesome. I'm gonna play another song off the most recent album called By Now. It's the second track on the album. It's kind of a it's about thinking you're over something, and like thinking you've worked through something emotional and hard, and then realizing that you're still hurting after some sort of trigger or whatever. Basically, it's about the healing process and about how it's very nonlinear.
Oh, wait, before you start, the reason I switched us from just focus on you to focus on us both, because this is my personal favorite song. I've listened to all your songs. This is the one that of the songs. I'm glad you've chosen it.
Oh, good. Okay. All right, here we go. Oh, stay inside till the sun's well up, and I lose my mind every week or so. 'Cause you tell me lies like you mean it, like promises but you'll never keep them. Do you think of me when the lights go down? Does anything feel missing when the music cuts out? I just thought that I'd be over it by now. Ooh. Oh, I keep my eye on the sprawling sky. Yeah, it feels alright if I avert my mind. It's a mystery I could never solve. Oh, it eats at me more than you imagine. Do you think of me when the lights go down? Does anything feel missing when the music cuts out? I just thought that I'd be over it by now. My heart is stopped and my life's on hold. I would if I could only let you go.
So we live in a world of dominated by social media. Where can people see you online?
They can see me just about everywhere. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I think Instagram is the thing I'm probably the most active on, but yeah, I'm on all of them.
You're not on TikTok.
I am. I'm working on my presence. I only have one video up right now, but I have big plans for my TikTok.
It's crazy because I don't watch the TikTok for the, I don't know, OnlyFans. Let's just stop there for the people who want to be OnlyFans famous.
Yeah.
But it's crazy the amount of talent of music and vocalists specifically.
Yeah.
On, because it's this like 60-second shot and we've got like persons like, not making you an exact comparison to anybody, but they're writing their little tunes sitting in front of their keyboards, et cetera, and creatively, and you get this 60s. I would think that you would be all over it. I was like, I looked you up on, so once I was like, had you on YouTube Music and playing for this other video, I'm like, okay, what other broadcasts? I was a little surprised. So what's your is it handle now? Is it called handle on Instagram? Is it just your name or how?
Yeah, it's just my name.
Okay.
Danielle Durack.
And then what about TikTok?
I actually don't know. I have to look.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'll probably end up, I realized that I already had, I don't know how TikTok knew this, but it like took my email and it's got like my little YouTube thing, and that account is available and I have access to it, but I started a different account. So I'll probably change it. But anyways, it's my name with 2 Ks at the end instead of just the one.
But is that the one with the YouTube connection? Because I think you'd want to link. Okay.
That's what I need to do. I think that one is just Danielle Durack. Let me see.
Because getting it to your whatever official, what you're calling official for YouTube or whatever. I mean, like I said, what you're going through and sounds like very familiar territory to me, like having to pull together all the independent different possible audiences, distribution, and the hurdles, and then okay, you got these responsibilities and their costs,
Yeah.
there are costs, and you don't know if you're going to get compensated for that, et cetera, et
Right.
cetera. And is it worth the cost for this? Or, and then there's short run and long run and this and that and the other. It's just like,
Right.
I'm sure it's like, it can be overwhelming. But TikTok
Absolutely.
free, right? And you can just
Yeah.
hijack and like edit out and, send out the 60 seconds that you want out of your. Speaking of which, so you have videos on your songs, is it right?
Yeah, I do.
And where do those appear? Do those
Those are
appear
from YouTube.
on YouTube?
Yeah.
How'd you pull together the videography?
I think just about every video has a different videographer. It's it's a complete mixed bag as far as like stories, but they're usually just friends of mine. And
Okay.
yeah.
And you got like friends who are just doing it for their leisure or as their job or?
Again, like kind of a mixed bag of both. Most of them are professionals, like the girl that did the There Goes My Heart and or I guess yeah, she did the There Goes My Heart video. She does film like for a living.
Okay.
The eggshells video, that was like an emergency, called in from a friend, needed a video, and got it done in like, a couple days. He had like a drone that was like following me running. So that was like it. I think he's trying to make it like his another source of income, but he did it. It was a favor for me. And then one of my photographers shot the video for Mistakes on Super 8 film, which was really cool.
What's Super 8 film? Wasn't that like decades
It's like
ago?
old, yeah, it's old looking film. You should check it out. It's the Mistakes video. It's on my page on YouTube. We filmed it at Mount Rainier on Super 8 film. It looks cool. But and then yeah, I think those are where all the ones, right? Oh, and then Broken Wings, that was another one. So we used the Super 8 film again. That one was really fun to film. It was like the concept was I had fallen in love with a red flag, like a literal red flag. And it's about us like getting married, and you see like, there's flashbacks to us falling in love and getting coffee, me and this literal red flag. And we
I've
shot
seen
all
the video. I've seen
huh?
the video.
You've
I've seen
seen
the video. I've seen the video. I was like, I don't have any. I was going to try to like, find a red flag for the backdrop instead of instead of this be kind. Just to say, I found this person.
yeah. Yeah. It was fun. Fun. That one was that half of that was shot by the same girl who did the Mistakes video, and then the other half was shot by a guy named Freddie Paul, who also does it for a living.
What I'll do is I'll include everyone's links
Cool.
to your social media outlets, everything you've mentioned here. Danielle, good luck to you. I hope that it's quite a thing, and part of the reason for, like I said earlier at the beginning of our conversation, we have that in common. It doesn't sound like I've got like some like 160 page like financial ramifications book, which may not seem anything like as taking your creativity and talent, but kind of getting all of these different spokes together and aligned up and to be responsible for it, et cetera, et cetera. It's a big task on top of
Totally
creating your music, which is of course, at the heart of it. So
right. Yeah.
thanks, Danielle. I've enjoyed
Thanks for
today.
having me.